I'm going to be incredibly brief because I don't want to take any time away from our next guest speaker. So Sandy Ogg, who is genuinely a legend in this space, the Chief HR Officer for many years at Unilever, where he took Unilever from HR 1.0 to HR 2.0 and probably created $1 billion, and then took Unilever from HR 2.0 to HR 3.0 and probably created $50 billion. Then went on to be operating partner at Blackstone and has been the founder of CEO.works. He sits on the board of INSEAD. Last year, he was inducted into the National Academy of Human Resources class of fellows in recognition of his contribution to the profession. So without any further introduction, I'm absolutely delighted and have the pleasure of having Sandy Ogg join us and share some of his thoughts and perspectives. Sandy, over to you.
Okay, good afternoon. It's always a little bit of a nervous moment when there are applause at the beginning. Because you got to be careful when you're applauding and you don't even know what I'm going to say. But let me kick this off by saying that everything that I'm going to say to you this afternoon, I say with all humility. Meaning that when I go through the list of people who are here and the backgrounds that you have, the experiences that you have, and so on, I'm not coming here to tell you anything. I'm coming here as a colleague, sharing with you observations from the different things that I've had the privilege to work on. So it's with all humility. And those of you who know me, you know that I've made all the mistakes. So, on the other hand, I'm offering it with humility, but I'm also bringing a challenge. So I'm going to share some things that I don't think are necessarily overly provocative, but may be challenging. Because what I want to speak to you about is what's next. So what's next in HR? What's coming? And what do I see coming in a practical way? So let's get started. Okay, people before strategy, a new role for the CHRO. It's time to blow up HR and build something new. Here's how. These kind of articles are signaling that there's a need for change in what we do. And in fact, I know the comment was made this morning that the CEO doesn't care. That's not my experience. I think that the CEO does care, but we just haven't done a good job of connecting talent to value or people to business in a way that it can get through. And so I'm not ready to give in and give up and say that the CEO doesn't care. Because I've had the opportunity working at Blackstone to be involved in the placement of about 100 CEOs. And I don't know of any of them that would have looked me in the eye and say, I don't care. And they were under pressure from some pretty serious private equity people. But I think that they do care. And I do think that, to a certain extent, they feel underserved. They feel underserved. And I think it's time for us to think about the way that we serve them. And the other thing I would say is that, and a lot has been said today about what's going on in the world. And depending on who you read or how you think about it, we're in the third or the fourth industrial revolution, whatever it is. It's smart, it's digital, and things are going from linear to exponential. And so we're in this exponentially changing environment, and the tools that we use and the work that we do isn't adapting fast enough, and that's the reason people are writing these articles like this. So let's get into it a little bit. I've been thinking a lot about HR, and I see it really as, and Mary alluded to it, that there are three sort of eras. And in fact, when I was at Blackstone, we had 100 portfolio companies at any point in time. And I would always go in and I would have a look at, first of all, what was the value agenda? And then secondly, what was the capability of the HR function? And I would use this grid. It was a little less fancy than this, but I would use this grid to evaluate the CHRO and the HR capability that existed and come to an opinion. Do I have a value agenda that is at 2.0 and an HR function that's at 1.0, or do I have a value agenda that's at 3.0 and an HR function that's at 1.0, and do I have a CHRO that is at 1.0, 2.0, or 3.0? Where's the team? How's it shaping? And so therefore, what do we need to do with HR in order to be able to deliver on the value agenda?